Hey everyone, Chris here, and I've come out to the canal because if you ever find you've been told to run slower and you get really frustrated and you're thinking, man, I could walk faster than this. I've been there. It might be that you're doing low heart rate training. It might be that you're just getting into running and you're struggling to build up distance and people have told you to go slower so you can go further and you're like, but that's too slow. Well, in this video we're going to do a not very scientific test to compare really easy running with walking, and I'm going to power walk for a kilometre up the canal and then I'm going to run back really slowly. I'm going to do low heart rate running. Obviously that will depend on your heart rate level, but for me it's about 160 as a max, so I'm going to try and keep my heart rate underneath 160. And then we'll compare, and what I think we'll find is that actually, even though it feels like I'm just going at a walking speed when I'm running with a really low heart rate and I'm just going to plod really slowly, I think what we'll find is that actually it's much faster than walking. So we'll do the experiment, we'll compare the two times, we'll look at my heart rate and we'll see what the difference is. So let's go. Okay, we are rolling, so this is just the walk out. I'm gonna walk pretty quickly. I normally, if I'm power walking, I'm somewhere around 9 minutes a kilometre, so we'll see what my heart rate does as well. In fact, we'll probably wait till we get back to the lab. I say lab, it's just my dining room. We'll get back to the lab to analyse the heart rate data and we'll see how it goes. Okay, nearly done the 1 kilometre walking, and as soon as we hit 1k, I'm going to turn around, take a really nice easy plod back, probably swap the screen over so it shows me my heart rate so I can keep a good eye on it, and we'll see how it compares. Really is the slowest plod ever. I am bored. Not that far to go now on the final kilometre. Heart rate still fairly reasonable. It was about 145. It's gone up to over 150 now. Just having to constantly tell myself to slow down. I never said it wasn't annoying. I think it will be faster than walking, but it's still annoying. I'm going to shut up now in case all this talking disrupts the results. And about to cross the finish line. There we go. Done. Let me pause the watch. So we've got results. It's one sample, it's not very scientific, but we have some results. Let's head back to the lab and analyse them. Okay, we're back in the lab and I've got Garmin Connect here with the run details. So let's go and take a look, and we'll start by going down to the laps. And so I did the walk in 7 minutes 58 and the run in 7 minutes 45, which is a lot closer than I was expecting, to be honest. Now with the walk, I was really powering it, so that's faster than I would normally even power walk. And I was taking it super slow with the run, and still they weren't quite the same, so it looks like the running is still faster, but there isn't as much difference as I was expecting. But with heart rate, then we see a much bigger difference. So here at the lap 1, I'm averaging 108, and in lap 2, that was, so 108 is the walk, and then 146 for the run. So nicely in zone 2 there, and stayed, well, I think my zone 2 ends at 163, so in there the whole way. And if we look at the graph, we can see a big difference as well. So here's the walk, this first bit. This is when I powered up a lot because I was on the canal. So actually that probably affected the results, that little spike. Otherwise, just on the flat, my heart rate would have been nice and low and down here. And then when I start the run, it jumps up. So we can see a really clear difference there. So even if the pace is actually pretty similar, like it's a slight difference here, but they're pretty similar. But actually there's a big difference in heart rate. So when we think about, am I doing the same thing when I go out for a really slow run compared to a walk? Well, actually no, I'm working the body in a very different way. So if you're thinking maybe I can just swap out my really low, slow running for walking, it doesn't seem to be the case, because right here we're right in the middle of our zone 2, and when I'm walking I'm way below that. So I'm in my zone 1 here and zone 2 here, and this is basically all of the run plus that little bit up the lock, and then the rest of it is down here in zone 1. So we're really working different parts of the body, even though the paces are fairly similar between walking and running. Now, a couple of probably disclaimers we need to make at this point. This isn't a very scientific test because I've only done it once, and if you want reliable data, you need to repeat the experiment and see if you always get the same results. And obviously I didn't really do much of a warm-up, so it could have been that my heart rate here would actually continue to increase slightly, and I'd have to further slow down to bring it down. But then normally I wouldn't be running in a hoodie, which was probably causing some overheating, so maybe those things balanced out. And while I was using the optical heart rate monitor on my watch, so not quite as accurate as a chest strap, it does seem to have done a good job here. Everything matches up with what would be expected, but again, not super scientific, but this quick little pseudo experiment suggests that actually it is fairly similar between really hard power walking, really slow running, are roughly the same speed, but you are still going a bit faster when you run. But also what you're working on your body, as we can see here, we're in a totally different heart rate zone between when we're walking and when we're running. So even though it feels like this super slow plod where we're not getting anywhere, we actually are working our zone 2 aerobic base in a way that we're not when we're walking. So I hope that was interesting. If so, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to get more running and triathlon videos.